Welcome to Now Go Lead, the podcast where we help you level up your leadership in just 5 minutes. Each episode, we provide inspiring stories and actionable insights to help you lead with confidence and clarity. Whether you're a seasoned leader or just starting out, our goal is to give you the tools and motivation to level up your leadership game. Let's talk about risky business. As a leader, sometimes you're going to have to take risk. I know that seems kind of dumb, but it is a necessary part of the journey. And some leaders do need to hear that. Your ability to know when to take the right risk at the right moment will make all the difference at the level of success you're going to see. If you're overly risk adverse, you'll rarely see the gains of those who are more comfortable taking some big swings now and then. Unfortunately, life's just too short to wait around for decades trying to gain success with an ultra-safe approach. It just works that way. So I'll share a little story with you from when I was younger. It was during the spring of my senior year of high school. So I had been single or not dating someone for about 4 or 5 months, and that's really a lifetime in the world of a high schooler. But I'd agreed to be the high school mascot for our basketball season, and I was spending a lot of time with the cheerleaders and games, practices, car rides, and, but really, as far as dating any of those cheerleaders, I really didn't have a lot of options. The ones I was interested in were in other relationships, but there was a girl on the squad I really liked. She was in a long-term relationship, but I heard that the captain of the squad might be available, so I thought that might work as well. But let me give you some context here. The way things work in the small town where I grew up, was that everybody sent flowers and balloons to their sweetheart on Valentine's. Basically, all day on Valentine's Day, the front office of the high school would call people out of class, go up to the front and pick up their deliveries there. So they'd go up front, got my flowers, got my balloons, and there were really a couple options for getting this done. Most folks went to the floral fashion store in town a few weeks ahead of time, put in their order, and so what I thought I'd do, taking a gamble, I decided to send some roses anonymously to the captain of the cheer squad. And because I was the Bulldog mascot at the time, I decided to sign the card with a paw print, just trying to be clever or whatever. But anyway, 2 days before Valentine's, I found out that the captain of the squad had gotten a boyfriend from another school, and I didn't know about it, and that wasn't good. But the wheels were already in motion. But I also found out that the girl I really liked had split up with her longtime boyfriend. And so I was like, wonder if I can change this thing here. So I ran over to the floral fashion place, talked to the florist. He said, hey, the truck's already loaded. Your only option here is to try to intercept the card and when it arrives at the school the morning of Valentine's Day. So he gave me a blank envelope. I filled it out with a new name and hoping I could do a quick swap at the school. And that kind of sounds easy in theory, but our high school secretary was a master of her own little fiefdom, and she did not want people messing around with things that they weren't supposed to be in. So the morning of Valentine's Day, I ran in and I'm hoping that I can get this envelope switched in. And I ran to the front of the high school, found the room where all the flowers and balloons and things are being stored. And it was just like a sea of things. I was like, how am I ever going to, I don't know, but yeah, so I snuck in, and I kid you not, just before the door closed behind me, I heard the secretary yell out to me. She was like, Brandon, you can't go in there. She's like, you can't. And I just let the door close behind me, and I just started looking. I'm like looking at every card, looking at everything. And I got the card swapped out, and she put her hand on my collar, yanked me out of the room. And it was just like one of these moments you would see in a movie. But, I got there late to the second period, which ironically was a class I shared with both of those girls, the captain of the cheer squad and the girl that I liked. And they were close friends. They sat next to each other. But anyway, yeah, sure enough, just within a few minutes, the announcement came across overhead for this girl to go pick up her flowers. And she came back to her desk. She opened the card, and all her friends are gathered around her. And I was sitting in the room there, so I got to watch all this unfold. And she took out the card, and she was a little confused. And it dawned on her that I wonder if this is Brandon. And she looked straight at me and said, did you send me this, Brandon? And now, when I had set all this in motion, I had not anticipated being in a situation where I would be called out in a room with all my friends about whether I was the sender of these flowers or not. And I really had no idea what this outcome was going to be, but depending on my answer, I could really be facing some serious ridicule, but I didn't have a lot of time to think about it. So I just said, yeah. And this gaggle of teenage girls kind of swarmed around her before I could really read her expression. And, by then the teacher's yelling for us to get back to our seats. And I spend the rest of the class in agony waiting to know what's going to happen. But at the end of class, she walked up and handed me a note with her phone number. So it worked out well. But I know that's a funny story, but, take 5 minutes and think about this. Are you willing to take some big risks in pursuit of the vision that you have? Are you willing to take some of those big swings? Or maybe you've just become too conservative in your approach and missed out on some big opportunities. It may seem like a trivial matter in retrospect to reach out to someone you like and share your feelings, but I can really assure you that in my high school brain, it felt like I was putting everything on the line to send flowers to this girl. And funny enough, I learned later on that it wasn't just dumb luck at play when I finally got the phone number from the girl. She mentioned that the way I'd kind of carried myself as the high school mascot in the weeks leading up to that moment really told a much bigger story about who I was than just being someone who sent her flowers. And the reality, too, in your leadership is oftentimes the work you're putting in during the mundane hours that leads to success when you do decide to take a big swing. So it's just an encouragement for you. Don't be afraid to take a big risk. The hard work that you're putting in every day means it's probably not as big a risk as you think and probably going to pay off more often than not. It's time to now go lead. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Now Go Lead. Join us next week as we cover a brand new leadership topic and help you level up your leadership in just 5 minutes. For more resources, tips, and inspiration, visit our website at nowgolead.com. You can also connect with us on Instagram at nowgolead and on LinkedIn. We would love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback helps us grow and reach more leaders like you. Also, don't forget to share this podcast with your colleagues and friends who are on their own leadership journey. Now Go Lead is produced by HP Engineering Studios in beautiful Northwest Arkansas. Now go lead.